What you should obviously do is still do optimization on the listing and make it better, run PPC, things like that, because you do want to grow sales.
Hello and welcome to the Wholesale Made Easy podcast, where we believe selling on Amazon shouldn't be hard, and we're going to prove it. My name is Dylan Carter, and I'm one of the co-founders at VinDrive, a tool that helps Amazon wholesale sellers streamline their businesses, stay organized, and land more profitable accounts. I'm sitting down with other successful wholesale sellers, and together we're sharing lessons learned and what it really takes to succeed with wholesale.
So we're going to do it a little bit differently. I know we're going through a lot of questions right now, which I want to make sure we get answered. That way you guys are still making progress, still moving forward. So sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. It randomly decided to nosedive on me real quick. And I didn't even see it happen. So I've been talking for however long until it went out. Yeah, I love it. Cool. So we're going to jump back into the questions. You guys have some great ones. So let's keep that going. We still got like 30-ish minutes. So let me rehash that. Okay. So if your BSR has a lot of volatility within a good, like low spectrum, like let's say it's like on that one we were looking at, it was 1,000. That's good. Now your price point, you don't want a lot of volatility, right? You want stability. So you want a price point that's actually pretty horizontal, just straight across, right? Not a lot of movement. If there's some movement, that's cool. When your price line looks like your BSR, now you have an issue. Now that's a lot of competition and it's a lot of jumping around. When it comes to wholesale products specifically, we're looking for products that fit into a portfolio of SKUs, right? So what does that mean? That means I want low maintenance products. So I want to front load a lot of my work, right? Front loading a lot of my work just means let's put in a lot of effort initially to get the account, get it set up, make sure it's profitable, maybe put some PPC in, listing optimization, all that jazz. After that, I don't want to do a whole lot other than restock, right? I'm going to put systems in place, whether that's, repricing, PPC. I might check that like once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks after a while on a specific campaign. Excuse me. So I'm looking for low maintenance inventory. So when a price line is all over the place, that's a lot of work for me. Is that an issue on a small number of SKUs? No. On a large number of SKUs, when you go to scale, yes, it's absolutely an issue. Or at least it can be. It depends, right? There's a lot of variables at play. But for me, again, I'm looking to build a portfolio of SKUs that don't require a lot of my effort or anybody's effort outside of placing restock orders once we've scaled it up, right? We kind of put in like a mini growth hold pattern, if you will, where it's still trying to, we're still growing it, but we're using systems to grow it, not necessarily a lot of sweat equity, right? Because we want to keep adding new suppliers. David, still can't believe you trashed my week-long search on trying to source supplements. Back to the drawing board, I guess. Hey, we all go through the whole supplement phase. You get so excited. Like, oh man, look at these volumes. Nope. Everybody goes for that Jaro. I think that's the name of the brand. Everybody goes for that brand too. Great products. Oh my gosh, great products. Not profitable. You can, and I've gotten that account, but it's just not worth it. Gary, hey, I paid good money for topicals. You know what's interesting? Well, no, actually, it wasn't topicals. It was infant toys. So when I got my first inventory SKU, everybody was like, man, it's going to cost you like $2,000 non-refundable just to get like in line. I was like, that's weird. Okay. So I get it. I test list it to see what they're going to ask from me. So I do that. I put in my CPC. I think it's CPC. The form, it's a child protection form. Basically just saying that the product is safe. Commercial invoice, letter of authorization, and got approved within like 2 hours. Didn't pay a dime. So everybody was paying like $1,000 or $2,000 to get approved, non-refundable. Yeah, didn't pay that. That was nice. But topicals is, some other situation. I tried to go the topical route. It was a lot of work for not a lot of reward, to be honest. So Jim, when running PPC, should I have a separate account for each SKU? I have a brand with multiple SKUs. Separate account. No, you only need one account. Do you mean a separate campaign? I would say yes. I would create a campaign per SKU, but you don't need multiple accounts. I'm assuming when you say account, you mean Seller Central account, like a seller account? No, you just need the one. Yeah, so if you have a brand with multiple SKUs, you just create a new campaign within Amazon's PPC platform per SKU. What I would do, especially if they're similar products, I would use the keywords that you found for, let's say, SKU A that's doing really well and test it with SKU B, C, and D, right? See if it scales out. So what you can do is you basically like cross-pollinate keywords. That way you're not just saying, oh, it works really great over here, but if it's applicable over here, let's test it. It might not do as well, but it could do very well just the same. Okay, yeah, so you meant start separate campaigns. Perfect, yeah. So I would, right? It depends though too. So what you know, depends on how you want to structure it, how detailed you want to get. I like to get detailed on the SKU level more so than the brand level when it comes to PPC. It's how I've done it. I can't tell you that's correct. I'm not a PPC expert by any means, but it works for me. And it keeps everything very organized. But again, don't be afraid to take a keyword from here, from campaign A for SKU A, and take it to campaign B for SKU B. I would do that as well. Take everything that I tell you with a grain of salt. It's my experience. It's the way I've done things. Doesn't mean it's the perfect way or the only way, right? So I say this all the time. I'm not a guru by any means. Dear God, please don't ever call me that or consider me one. I've just done this enough to save you a lot of effort and to kind of steer you in the right direction. But that doesn't mean you can't do it better than me. I might have just sucked at supplements, but you might be able to kill it. If you ask if I would do it, I would tell you no. That doesn't mean you shouldn't, though. It might be your competitive advantage. You never know, right? So keep that in mind. Just blanket public statement there. See, Vic, hey, Dylan, can I copy from a competitor or does my listing have to be unique? So, Vic, this goes back to defining what wholesale is. We're not creating listings. If you saw what I was doing with the sourcing, we do what's called reverse sourcing. So we're actually finding products and listings that are already doing good on Amazon and then getting that account. So if this is the listing that we found that's doing well.
Today's episode is brought to you by GoAura.com, our AI-based repricing tool. If you're ready to take your sales to the next level, repricing is the way to go. No more manually adjusting your prices each day. Let our AI actually do the heavy lifting for you. And if you're sick of repricing tools dropping their activity and leaving you in the dark, Aura can help. With smart repricing strategies, an optimized platform, and instant repricing, Aura both reprices faster and holds the buy box for 65% more time than competing repricers. If you're ready to experience repricing reimagined, head over to GoAura.com to start your 14-day free trial.
We reverse go to the brand, get the account, and then we sell on this listing. So I'm not creating a new listing, right? I don't need UPC codes, none of that. Because again, private label, white label, wholesale, bit different. What you should obviously do is still do optimization on the listing and make it better, run PPC, things like that, because you do want to grow sales any way you can, but you're not creating a new listing, right? I'm curious though, what's everybody's biggest hurdle right now? Because I know a lot of it's mental. I just scheduled a podcast interview with a guy named Cameron talking about this specifically of like the mental side of entrepreneurship, especially within Amazon, right? He's a seller too. So we're going to dive very deep into how to overcome those mental hurdles. I know like a lot of people going through right now, like just picking up the phone to make that first phone call is like going to take me 48 hours just to talk myself into dialing the number, which is normal too, by the way. So getting you guys through that, getting you to understand that it's not as bad as you think it is, and giving you some context and perspective, and some tools to kind of deal with it too, which is going to help a lot. Let's see, Jim, what software do you use to scan distributor price list? Price Checker 2 has just been good enough for me. It's not good, but it's not bad. It works. Here's the thing about the way I teach and the way I do it is I'm not looking for distributors, right? So for the most part, I'm not scanning price lists. I might get a PDF with like a brand that carries, let's say a brand carries 24 SKUs. It doesn't take me long to quickly go through those one by one. If I can tell you this right now, the larger the distributor list you are given, the less likely there is profit in there. If you get a 10,000 SKU list, you should be upset. Now, the rationale, the logic you're telling yourself right now is, well, there's 10,000 SKUs, Dylan. I'm bound to find one, right? Sure. But that's not the actual math, right? Because you don't know the conversion rates. The realities of that, because I've done it so many times, is that it's never that case. Unfortunately. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be, right? Again, this is my personal experience here. It depends on the kind of distributor as well, right? Look at a company like Entertainment Earth. Thousands of SKUs, hundreds of thousands of SKUs, I imagine. Good luck. Everybody's got the account. You know, the margins are razor thin as is. You got to pre-purchase a lot of stuff that looks good. And then by the time it gets live, price drops. It's not even worth your time. You shouldn't even apply for that account. But for me personally, whenever there's a huge number, like in thousands of SKUs for a price list, I'll scan it. I don't expect anything, and hardly anything ever actually comes out of it. And, you know, that's okay. So I look for brands that fit into this little category, that they're big enough to warrant a decent amount of sales, that like I can jump in and meet my buying criteria, but it's not so huge. And again, I'm going direct to brands, not distributors. Sometimes I have to go to a distributor, but I'm not going to huge distributors. I'm going to these little baby niche, you know, lawn care distributors, right? Because I want a specific kind of product, and nobody's going to really try to go get that account from me. So it's in the approach, I think, that makes it different. But again, to each their own, right? Capital is always going to be an issue. You will never have enough. Now, here's the thing to keep in mind. Once you are scaling, you have sourcing down, getting new suppliers and profitable inventory is not a problem for you anymore. You need to switch. So here's what happens. You need to set that up as a system so you can get somebody else to do the majority of that work, whether that's a VA, an in-house person, whatever. You now need to switch your time kind of slowly from sourcing to raising money, to assuming you want to continue to grow. Assuming you want to continue to grow. Revolving money back into the business is fantastic. At a certain point, it only can get you so much further, right? So now you're stifling growth. Yes, you're growing, but you're not growing, let's say, at 30, 50, 70% month over month like you would like to. You eventually get to a point where, you know, if somebody gave you 50 grand, you can spend that profitably in the next 30 days. When you're in that position, it could be 5, it could be 10 grand, whatever, right? Now you need to go raise that money, whether it's debt, whether it's equity through like a partnership, whatever. If I have, let's say, 30% inventory that I can purchase, would I pay, you know, anywhere from 8 to, let's say, even 15% interest on debt to buy that inventory and flip it in 2 weeks? Yes. I'm going to make less margin because I have the debt finance that I need to pay off, the service, if you will. But I'm still making, let's say, 15 to 20%. But that's 15 to 20% on that capital. But in terms of my return, it's much higher because I didn't come out of pocket, right? So now I get 100% return, or what a lot of people just say, an infinite return, theoretically. So at some point, you do need to go that route. A lot of options. There's a lot of money out there right now. See, Gary, I found a great account, but need a warehouse. Go get a prep center. Easy solution. Get a prep center. I have no good luck creating accounts with brands. Any advice? Do more of it. It's not luck. It's not luck. It's a skill set, and there's a learning curve. You have to do it enough times to get through the learning curve and to gain experience and to build a skill set. What I would suggest to all of you to do right now is to understand that you need to shift from being a business owner right now to being a salesperson. That's all you're doing. Act as if this is your sales day job. You have a quota to meet. Your quota is you have to sell 10 accounts per week, right? Let's say per week. Okay, work the math, do the numbers. If you've never done sales and it's a foreign idea to you and it's not comfortable, that's okay. That's everybody when they first get into it. Start reading books on sales.
Hey guys, if you want to jump into our Facebook group and actually see these live sourcing sessions together, we do these every single week. You can do so by going to vendrive.com/group. We'll accept you in there, and then you can join us live, ask your own questions, and join our community here on Facebook.